that's being left out of the equation. I'm going to end up changing my pick and take Detroit. But you have no Earl Thomas, and you have no Cam Chancellor. Is Cam Chancellor playing?
I don't believe he is. Let me look.
You got it. I'm going to look it up as well, but I think that's kind of important to note. I can't believe I didn't look this up earlier. I still can't believe I have the hiccups in the middle of a live show, but I'll work through that. No, I don't see anything about Cam Chancellor on an injury report. Do you?
Nope. Let's see.
Well, and he is playing.
Full participant, not on the injury report.
Okay. Then that makes a big difference because when the big boy back there, he's a hammer, he does make a difference. But then you take Earl Thomas off there, that softens that secondary a touch, but not much. That's still the Legion of Boom, just less Earl Thomas.
Right.
But carry on.
So, yeah, Doug Baldwin, maybe Golden Tate, maybe DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
Because I have all kinds of money left over. So
sure, and to the listener, we don't need to put these in any specific order because you're going to be able to spend all the money you want. For
yeah, you got plenty of money on this lineup.
I don't think you could fill it up if you tried.
I think I'm going a little more. I'm leaning a little more DeAndre Hopkins-ish, just for the hell of it, man.
Okay.
And then here's my sneaky play. I'm going all the way down to $4,800, and I'm throwing in Anquan Bolden.
I like it.
That's
I like
my
it a lot.
thinning of the herd. And if you look, he's had a few touchdowns. They look for him. It's like every other game he was going there for a while. They look for him.
He's a little red zone sniffer.
Yeah. So
well, he catches everything too. He's just a good receiver, just damn good.
Yeah, there's a good chance that 15 points could be right around your top receiver score this week. So I'm not afraid of a third receiver, wide receiver spot.
Okay.
Maybe a Jermaine Kearse, but he's been horrible, so I kind of tend to stay away from him. Like I said, Marvin Jones. So maybe if I was going to do when we talked earlier off air about pivot players, if I was going to do a pivot player, maybe I would do the in the third spot, and I would pivot with Marvin Jones. I might even throw. Because you'd imagine one of the Oakland wide receivers is going to have some chemistry, possibly with.
You gotta hope that they're doing something to integrate this kid into something, but
I mean, he's not a jabroni. He wouldn't be on the team if he.
No, he's not. He's not your average third string quarterback in the NFL. He's not. But
I would say though the most sure thing, as far as I can see, would be Doug Baldwin, just based upon I'm looking at. I don't know if Seattle is going to have as much of proficiency on the ground as you think. And I know that even though I was really disappointed at San Francisco, the week before, 19 targets, 13 receptions. I mean, come on, Doug. Give me 15, 18, 20 points, buddy.
No, I'm with you. And I think that part of Seattle's problem this year is they don't trust their running game. It was part of their problem last year. They want to throw the football.
Yeah, well, I think they miss our fucking boy, Marshawn.
They missed the beast. There's no doubt about it. I missed Marshawn Lynch. I drafted him 10 years in a row, for God's sake.
Commercials now and shit. I get to go off, dude. It's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll speed this up. Make it easy with our tight end position. I'm still stacking, so I like Jimmy Graham for this outing because, again, going with Russell Wilson. But, again, I also wouldn't be surprised if our man C.J. Fedorowicz wasn't the top tight end by the end of this, these two games. So maybe pivot him in there too. And then honestly, I like Nick Folk because I think there's going to be more field goals in the Oakland-Houston game than touchdowns.
Okay.
So, that's that.
I don't disagree. Go to defense, and I'm going to read you my lineup that I put together, and then we'll move on to the next contest.
Defense, I want to pick Seattle. And then I also like Houston based upon the matchup.
I do too.
So if you can do pivot with those, it's how much money you have. I really, when I say put in both guys, it's because I'm really torn. You like the matchup, Seattle at home, but Matt Stafford's been playing pretty decent, so they can either fucking get 20 points or 6. and then what do you do? But you could see Houston, given the like we talked about, the Rook first start, whatever. You can see
screams turnover to me. It screams turnover.
Screams maybe a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, this is what happens when young players start. It screams turnover. And Houston is not a good football team, but they're a playoff team. They're probably the worst team that won their division in all the NFL this year. I can't find another that would compare.
Yeah, I agree.
No doubt. Let me fire away a lineup here to you, and this is the same contest that I put this one together, and then we'll slide on to the Saturday late.
Sounds good.
I went the Russell Wilson direction as well, but I included in a couple. You'll see that I faded all Raiders out of this lineup. There's not a Raider in the lineup for a particular reason. I just see that offense struggling again, unfortunately. But I went the Lamar Miller, Zach Zenner direction. Receivers were DeAndre Hopkins because they got to get the ball to somebody, even though I don't like starting anybody in that game because I see it being about a 14-10, 17-13 kind of game. I don't love the offenses, but maybe I'm wrong. I like DeAndre Hopkins, Doug Baldwin, and Golden Tate. I said Golden Tate, didn't I?
Yeah, I say Golden Tate all the time, dude. Poor guy.
I can't not say Golden Tate. Maybe it's because I've never seen one. I like Jimmy Golden Grams, and I think you got to fit him in there, like you said. With Russell Wilson, there's a pretty good chance he finds him. But don't be totally shocked out there if Russell Wilson doesn't find Luke Wilson for a 75-yard touchdown. This is my effing nightmare.
Yeah, they love that shit, man. I don't know why.
In a bad Detroit pass defense, Luke Wilson somehow sneaks out from 40 yards out, and I can see Wilson just dropping one in the bucket. But again, I took Matt Prater for Detroit kicker. I'm thinking that there may or may not be some difficulty moving the football. Some drives could stall out because Stafford's going to move the football. That's what he does. The drives stall out. Matt Prater's a reliable kicker. They will kick the ball. That game might be tighter than I initially thought, so I'm going to go back and change my play on that. And then defensively, I took the Houston Texans because I do think they're going to give the Oakland Raiders and rookie quarterback Connor Cook probably a hard time. As much as it pains me to admit it, this is me talking about my gambling, so I got to take that Texans defense. And on that note, my friend, let's just move right along into a different contest.
Let's do it. So we got that was the Saturday only. Now let's do the Saturday main. When you get to that, you have the top two $500,000 prizes for $5. You have $800,000.
I see that. That's the Saturday NFL Rush, $50K to first place. That's a really nice-looking contest. I'm going to say this. God, second place is $20,000. Third place is $12,500. That's a really nice contest. If you're in the top 20%, you're going to get your money back. You're going to get $10.
Yeah, it is.
It's double your money.
If you got some money, they have an $800,000 one for 25 entry, and that first prize is $150. Then second is $60, third is $40, and then up to 100th place is $400.
That's right. Now keep in mind, to win that first place prize, you need to beat 37,000 people. But stranger things have happened, man. Just get in the money. I don't love these contests. I don't love these multi-entry contests. But this time of year is when you have an opportunity to pop something. I think if you really want to stretch your dollar, there's a single route. It's the NFL Hot Route, $75K, but it's a $50 entry. $75K, but it's a single-player entry. You're only going to have $8,000 to first place, though. But that money's tighter because these are the ones you have a higher mathematical chance of winning, or those single entries. So I certainly do like those. But to carry on with it quickly, which one are you doing?
I went two ways here.
Okay.
I have a number of lineups here, but I went high and low, basically. I went, and we talked about this, I went Brock Osweiler. And the reason why
the big O.
Yeah, the reason why I did that is because I can go with the best skill players that have shown me over the course of the year. They have the most value, et cetera. So I really wanted to try and have them obviously in the lineup. So when you do that, when you have Brock Osweiler in the lineup, you can now have, because remember, we got Oakland, Houston, Detroit at Seattle, but then we also have the Miami at Pittsburgh and the Giants at Green Bay.
That's right.
So I now have Le'Veon Bell and Jay Ajayi in my lineups when I do that. And I would say there is a good chance that you obviously saw what Jay Ajayi did the last time he played Pittsburgh. And,
yeah, he smoked them.
Yeah, he did. Now, I don't feel comfortable ever betting against Le'Veon Bell. So you now have a dilemma. Which one you think Jay Ajayi is going to outplay Le'Veon Bell? You think Lamar Miller is going to outplay Jay Ajayi or Le'Veon Bell? So,
posed with the question, are you asking me?
Yeah, well, just almost hypothetical. So when you start thinking along those lines, you start to realize like you almost have to start both of them because there's a good chance that both of those guys will be the 1 and 2, one way or another, at the position. Because then you have Lamar Miller, Thomas Rawls, Ty Montgomery. So, I just don't necessarily feel like that's the strategy. If I'm going to go with Osweiler, then I want to get the best guys,
Sure.
So,
well, okay. I'll tell you what. Let me take a step back here. You're taking Brock Osweiler in this event, and I'm entering a different one for this complete contest for this time frame, which has all 4 weekend games, the Saturday main. I'm entering a $1 entry, $30,000 payout. It's a single entry. Which one is this? This is the $30K Saturday NFL Squib. First place is $2,000. But to get in for $1, what I like to do is build my lineup in these places, and then if I love that lineup, I'll fill it in a couple other spots.
Sure.
But that said, Osweiler at $67,000 certainly does offer you some options. I just don't see them scoring a lot of points because they haven't all year long. So the player I do like here, and I really want to bring this up, I love Matt Moore.
Okay.
I love him. He's at 6,900. This is not a bad player. This is one of the better backups in the NFL. He's actually been pretty successful. He's 3-1 as a starter this year in Miami, losing just last week to the New England Patriots, who I think are going to beat everybody throughout this tournament. He's 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, and he's got really good wide receivers, and a really good running back and a really good offensive line. I'm starting to change my outlook on this Miami-Pittsburgh game, but the one important thing I want to point out, the over-under here is at 47 right now, and I'm double-checking that as I speak because that's not something you want to screw up. It's pretty damn important. Okay, it's now dropped at 45.5, but regardless, that's the highest over-under of the weekend. I believe in these quarterbacks that are underdogs in high-scoring games. They're going to play chase me. Doesn't mean Jay Ajayi is not going to take over that ball game, but I just like the idea that Matt Moore, if you're going to get 12 to 15 out of Osweiler, you could potentially get 16 to 20 out of Matt Moore because guys like Kenny Stills, Jarvis Landry, and Devonta Parker are big play players. So I do look for something there, but I like the idea of saving on your quarterback because it's going to be so easy for everybody to throw Aaron Rodgers in that mix. But I know what you're going to do with that, and we're going to get to that one a little bit later. At least I have a pretty good idea what I think you're going to do with that. I'm going to start more here.
I have the Aaron Rodgers lineups going as well.
I'm sure you do. I think we both learned our lesson not to.
I think you might have convinced me, seeing that kind of slipped by me, I guess. I didn't realize Matt Moore was that cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that almost makes sense. I'm trying to see how I can fit him in there. I guess if I really wanted to, I can do it. I just got to not go ODB and then go Jordy, which I don't have a problem.
Do you have the option of shaving a couple $100 off of a defense?
No, I was at 0.
Okay.
Because I had Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay.
And then Devontae Adams.
Let's stick to this running back part of the conversation. Look, like you said, you don't want to bet against Le'Veon Bell, and I completely 100% agree with you on that, but he's just so overpriced. If he doesn't put up 22 points, he's killing me. For the sake of the contrarian play, you don't have a whole lot of choices.
And that's kind of why
I mean, you're right. I'm looking at it. You just don't have a whole lot of options. However, I mentioned to you earlier, guys ran all over that Green Bay Packer defense this year. It was not a good defense. Last week, the New York Giants figured out that Paul Perkins should probably be their bell cow. I don't think Paul Perkins was on vacation with them. Do you know anything about their little trip to Miami? I think that was just wide receivers.
Yeah, I think it was wide receivers.
Okay, yeah, so Perkins wasn't there. And, it's been mentioned to me that the Giants, after that distraction, will likely go up to Lambeau into the cold and show up flat. It's going to be 7 degrees there in Wisconsin. 7.